Before we begin today, attached to the assignment are 12 text complexity cards. If you have a printer, you can print them double-sided, or you can print out two separate pieces of paper. Cut them out, and then glue tape or staple them together so that the problem is on one side and the solution on the other. If you don't have a printer, you can make your own cards by copying the information on pieces of paper. Readers, we're almost done with our informational unit. We've been learning a lot about what makes informational text get harder, and I think we've noticed some important things. Today, I'm going to give you a tool that should help remind you of some of the things that we've been doing. If you're moving along fine, you can make a mental model of what you're learning, and you feel like you totally get it. That is not the time to use the tool. But if, on the other hand, you're not sure what you just read, or you feel a bit daunted by the text, then you might use this tool to think about that part of the text that feels hard. You should ask yourself, what is making this so hard? Then you can use these cards to help you think about the sources of text complexity. Today I want to teach you that as nonfiction readers monitor their own comprehension, they notice when they're feeling confused or stuck, and they turn to tools and strategies to help. Readers, today we're going to read from Lessons from the Deep. We've read some of this before, so it should seem familiar. However, this time, as I'm reading out loud, and you read along with me, I want you to think, if you're confused at any point, make a note where that happened. Ready? Lessons from the Deep, adapted from a text by Anna Gratz Cockerville. Of all the strange and wonderful creatures that live in the ocean, one unique creature stands out above the rest. It is the amazing octopus. Mischief and craft are plainly seen to be the characteristics of this creature, Claudius Arnelius, a Roman historian, wrote at the turn of the 3rd century AD. Humans have been catching and eating octopuses for hundreds of years, and yet their mystifying biology and intelligence continue to inspire and puzzle the researchers who study them. Feeling confused? This text is pretty tricky, so we're going to have to give a few tools a try. Ready? The first step with any tricky text is to stop. Don't just keep plowing ahead. Stop. When there's a part that's causing confusion, I want you to look around. Identify the part that's causing the confusion. Then look through your cards. Find the challenge that you're facing, and on the back, there should be a strategy that could help you. Give that strategy a try. Take a look at our strategy cards. This first one. If the text is long and the connections are separated by lots of text, the answer is to summarize often. You can talk or jot down summaries or big ideas and supporting details. Taking notes always helps. The next card explains what to do if the headings or subheadings are no help or they're misleading. Well, you can do things like add your own heading by annotating or using post-it notes. If you're doing an online version, the best thing to do is to stop. Come up with your own heading. What is the main idea of what you're reading? What do you do when there are no headings or no obvious chunks? Well, one thing you can do is reword the entire thing. Make your own main idea, or pick out what that section is mostly about. So what do you do when a text is dense? It has tons of details and descriptions. Well, one thing you can do is to be alert for when things remind you of something you read earlier. Go back and reread if you need to. So what do you do when a text demands that you already know about the topic? Well, the best thing to do is to stop and go find out more. Get an easier text, or find a website for kids. Maybe even ask someone who's an expert. What do you do when the main idea or essential idea is implicit? meaning the author doesn't tell you what the main idea is. Well, one strategy is to read a lot before trying to explain what the main idea is, and then use your own words to try to summarize. See what the big idea seems to be. So what do you do when there are several main ideas in the same text? Well, you can expect that most texts are about more than one thing. So push yourself. Ask, what else is this text teaching? One way a text becomes more complex is if it uses a hybrid text structure, meaning more than one text structure is used in the piece. What you can do is preview the structures. Look for the common ones that you already know. It can help just to know that the author is using different ones for different reasons. Sometimes it happens that the captions give you more information. Maybe you missed them before. Don't skip the captions. See if the information that you were missing is in a caption or in some sort of visual. Oftentimes the visuals present new information that isn't necessarily written. So the best thing to do is to try to explain why the author put the visuals there in the first place. What additional information do they offer? Sometimes the text feels very complex when it's overcrowded with numbers, statistics, graphs. Study those statistics and numbers. Try to explain what they mean. Don't skip them. The last card is about vocabulary. When the vocabulary is hard, technical, or tricky, it usually means we're not understanding what the author is saying. Look around for examples. Restate things. Try to look and see if the author has explained the technical terms. Sometimes, after you've tried everything, you're going to have to go outside the text. Look for other sources or ways to find out what those words mean. Then be sure to reread, using your new knowledge. So there you have it. These are all the strategies we have to understand more complex texts. And it works whenever you read. You can read on with your mind on fire, and when you get confused, stop. Notice what's challenging you, and then try a strategy to address that challenge. Often the strategy on your cards will help you, but sometimes you'll have to create your own strategy, turning to other resources to help you. I want you to use this often tool as much as you need. But our goal is that over time, these kinds of challenges and strategies will be internalized in your mind. So you won't have to use your cards or a chart every time you're reading. For your assignment today, share a picture of you with your cards. Then share one way you've used your cards while you do your 30 minutes of reading today. Now off you go. Happy reading!